Hey guys. Hey, it's Julie and Lindsey here. How are you guys doing? Welcome back. We're here working and reading together. This is our podcast, Thirsty Readers, and every month we review a book and a couple drinks, and if you guys are down, come along for the ride.
Yeah. We're halfway through Slade House right now. We call it Midway Monday. We always do our halfway mark on a Monday. Gives us something to kickstart the week with.
So speaking of drinks, what drink we got today?
We have a Rum Punch. It's a canned cocktail.
Okay,
from New Holland Spirits. New Holland Brewing Company is in... Well, we've got location in downtown Grand Rapids. I think it's from Holland, Michigan.
I think there was... I used to live not in Grand Rapids, and there was one in Holland, actually.
Yeah. I think that's where it's from.
Sorry. That was really ignorant. Anyways, this one is with passion fruit, pineapple, orange, and coconut, and I am not a fan of coconut.
It says right on the can, proudly crafted in Holland, Michigan. So, yeah, it's 9%. 9%
alcohol.
Yup.
And we're supposed to pour over ice. We have this poured nicely over ice. Tell you what.
Yep.
We already opened it, so.
Yeah. So we discovered this drink. My husband, Travis, and myself, we throw a luau for our daughter's birthday every year at the end of July. So the can for this Rum Punch has a tiki guy on it.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of went with the theme. We're familiar with New Holland Spirits, so we bought a ton of it and didn't have time to drink it at the party. I think it's like... So
you bought a big case then?
No, we bought just like a ton of little cases. They were
Illa's birthday was getting lit.
Yeah, everybody was getting lit. Yeah. So I think it's 4 cans for like $12.99 or something, but we got them on sale for $8.99.
But they're like a local brewery, so I feel like that's a pretty accurate price.
Yeah. And it was totally worth it. Everybody was raving about it after the party.
But you said you didn't get to drink any.
No, Travis and I didn't even... Well, Travis might have. And I feel
Travis probably snuck a few.
Yeah, probably. I don't even know.
It's okay. I do that, I do that too.
You sneak some in too. Yeah. So everybody was raving about it after the birthday party, and so I wanted to try it out. So Here we are. Cheers.
Oh, cheers. Ooh, nice. Well, first off, it's like this pinkish flavor. It's got some bubbles in it. And it honestly smells like a watered down sun kiss that you left out in the sun for a couple hours.
Yeah, it does.
On a nice summer day.
It's a little more refreshing than I had anticipated.
Damn.
Because I'm not a fan of like...
Coconut is there.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of coconut, but it's better than I had anticipated. It's the color of grapefruit.
Yeah. I shouldn't have said pink. You're better at that. Colors.
No, that was a very good description. We were both on fleek.
Dude, I think if it was a hot day, perfect. Hot day, if I was like by the lake or, not by a lake, if I was just burning alive on my porch or something, great. Anyways, but this isn't a winter drink, guys.
No. But it's a fall day today. We're on a porch.
Yeah, it is.
Breeze.
Tell me why today is so cold, dude. It is so messed up how cold it is.
I don't know.
But anyways, sorry, yeah. Oh, okay, so would you, what, never mind. Sorry. Let's get into this book, people. This is what we all came for.
Yeah,
Unless, is there anything else you want to say about your drink?
No more notes on the drink.
Okay. All right, can I just first say, I was researching this book, and if you guys didn't listen to our first podcast, we have it up on YouTube, we have it up on SoundCloud, and you should listen to it and realize that I just picked the book out because I thought it looked cool. I judge books by the cover, period. Anyways, that's...
You judged this one poorly.
Yeah, because then I started doing some Google research, and Lindsey did some more, and she'll talk to you in a second, but, this is like a book, and we just jumped in the middle of it, and I was like beginning to like not like it because I was like, dude, I feel so lost. And now it makes sense because I was supposed to read this other one called Bone Clocks first. Anyways, mistakes were made, okay?
I think it was great. I say you judged poorly because you picked the book solely based on the cover. And though I love the book, you didn't like it.
As of right now, I don't like it, dude.
So
I don't like it.
We're talking about Slade House by David Mitchell.
Yeah.
He's a British comedian, actor.
No, comedian. Oh, you just said comedian.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
I was in my own head.
We've been on this book for a while just because we're sort of getting off the ground with our podcast and just getting our structure and everything in order. So but we've been on this book for a bit, so we did our research a couple weeks ago, but I know he's
a comedian.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you say he was from a different country, or is he from here?
He's a British comedian.
Yeah, British comedian.
Yeah.
Dang, so, I need to listen to our own podcast. I feel like I'm messing up right now.
No, we're...
Well, okay, so this book is not funny. It's funny in some parts, but I expected it to be funnier. After Lindsey now told me this, I'm like, why was this book not funnier? And then this brings up the question, why? I don't know, maybe I'm overstepping bounds, but if you're good at something, people always get into something crazy, like they're an actor and now they're trying to sing. It's like, bro, I don't know, were you even good at singing? I mean, maybe he was a really good comedian. I mean, now we're trying to write a book.
I think he's a good writer. I liked the book. I think his humor is super subtle, and that's what I appreciate about it.
I agree. The first chapter I thought was the funniest. I got a little too invested, and I will agree that was a good time.
So, I was telling you about this, how those memes that are relatable.
Yeah.
It's just,
are you gonna hit me with a meme?
No, I'm not gonna hit you with a specific meme. I'm hitting you with some. I don't know what I'm hitting you with. I'm try to talk through this. So, when you read a meme that's funny, it's so
relatable.
It's so fucking obvious. It's like, oh my god, I can relate to that. That's how I feel every day, every time whatever the meme is about happens to me. Right. That's exactly how I feel.
It's something that you thought you did by yourself, and then you're like, wow, I tripped falling down the stairs.
Everybody does this. And then you read a meme about it, and it just strikes you as, oh my god, that's so funny, when in reality it's not anything new. It's so obvious to everybody. But that to me is how David Mitchell's humor is. He just he doesn't use fancy words. He doesn't use any words that aren't relatable. He just uses common lingo.
Yeah.
And he just throws it into the book like it's nobody's business. And the book, to me, is funny.
Dude, I feel like Lindsey, you loved this book. And I'm the one who chose it. But this chick is man, it's so good. He's so funny. And I'm over here I'm going to be honest, guys. I've already returned my copy back to the library, dude. I've returned it.
And I haven't even finished the book yet. But no, David Mitchell, the way he writes... There were so many times when I was reading the book that I thought to myself, okay, if I hadn't been paying attention, I would have missed that. That joke would have been completely over my head. But I happened to actually have been focused on the book, and for all I know, there was a ton of humor that was over my head. But there were a few things
obviously it was over mine.
And I'm like, that is funny as hell. He said, so we've already talked about this, you and I, before, but the first character in the book, Jonah, he's talking about how he was a Boy Scout and how he got kicked out of the Boy Scouts, and so Jonah's narrating this part in the book, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, the leader told me to get lost, so I did. It took them 2 days to find me.
Right.
Real when literal. You're reading it, it just was funny. I don't know. Maybe it was maybe it was the Rum Punch. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
no, I believe it. I think stuff like that was pretty good. I'll admit there were a couple times where that character specifically, and that's where, as we get into it, I'm even curious where, am I laughing even just because, these characters are all losers?
Because you hate the book so much.
Or, it's I'm a loser. I sit here and I do my own thing, and all these people are losers in some extent. And in that, case, it's funny because I'm watching this person be a loser.
So, okay, we need to give people listening a little bit of context. The losers we're talking about. So the book is formatted How would you explain it? Each chapter is a different year.
It's a different viewpoint.
It's a different viewpoint by
9
a
years
character
apart.
that is like, each character is like in some way.
Yeah, they're connected somehow. They're all connected in some way, but they're 9 years after the other person disappears. I guess I won't say what happens, or I guess we could get to it. I guess we don't know what happens to all the characters yet because we're only 3 chapters in. Because it's only like a 6-chapter book, right?
Yeah.
Or is it 5 chapters? 6? 5?
It's 6.
Whatever. It's something like that, guys. Look at your book, bro.
Well, I haven't gotten to that point yet, and you finished it and returned it.
Yeah,
so
I'm going to have to recheck it out. I mean, I owed 30 cents to the library, so...
you had to get those dues paid.
It's okay. We figured it out.
So how was your experience at the library?
Well, like I said, I was getting nervous because I thought I probably owed like $1.
PSA, it's 2019, and I just want to let everybody know that Julia goes to the library to get her books.
Dude, which is wild because I didn't know people weren't about that library life anymore. You know, I feel like I'm telling Lindsey like I roll my rock to the library. But yeah, I go to the library. I picked it out.
What did the librarian look like?
Dude, he was actually...
I'm sorry, You've already caught me off guard.
Yeah, there is actually a lot of young kids that work there. In combination, like, I would almost say it's a 2-to-1 ratio. Like, you have 2 young kids to every, like, 1 old person.
That's amazing. There. So society is reverting back to that old-fashioned... People are smart.
Well, can I be honest? I went to the library because I live in a small house, and, you know, I've had to move from a larger apartment. I don't live in a house, I live in an apartment. But, you know, house is a home if you make it.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
So anyways, you have this, like, I had a bigger apartment, and then we moved to this tiny 1-bedroom apartment, and I had to, like, throw away so much of my stuff, and I feel like it was so sad. I mean, like, at the end of the day, I have a box of memories in my trunk. That's why you can't fit anything in my trunk, dude. Anyways, got a little off topic there.
No, this is important.
So I never want to, like, fall in love with something that I'm going to have to give up, you know? So the library...
So good thing you hated the book.
Good thing I hated the book, you know? Anyways, but you got yours, so Lindsey is above the library here, dude.
I'm not above the library. I'm just on a different lane.
Dude,
So I love Amazon. Anybody who knows me, knows anything about me, knows that I'm like an Amazon, like, walking advertisement.
She's a prime queen, dude.
I fucking love Amazon. I'm all over it. I want that. I go on my phone, click it into my cart, buy now. Yup, it's at my doorstep tomorrow.
Yeah. How many items on average do you have in your Amazon cart?
If I got everything in my cart
time.
Right now, I'd need around $900.
Yeah, exactly.
So my Amazon cart is just like...
So if you guys want to send us money, yeah, Lindsey might need it. I need it for my library, dude. She needs it to get the rest of the things she needs.
So I use my Amazon cart as just like a grocery list, basically. Anything I think I want, I just add it to my Amazon cart. Right. And then...
Well, I remember one time you said, I have it in here so I don't forget about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just what I do. Amazon does my thinking for me.
Probably, you know, they might.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so I got my book from Amazon.
Dude, this book looks different, and I told kind of in the first podcast, the book looks different. It didn't have the cool cover.
No, it doesn't.
And I was like, why did we even, you know, like, I would have been upset. I wouldn't even have chose the book. It didn't even have a cool cover.
Yeah.
Bro, speaking of which, I see you had a friend help you out here inside your book. Speaking of notes in your book.
Right. So my daughter, Ayla, every time she sees something new on my bedside table, she's got to inspect it, see what it's about. Why wasn't she included? Can she have it, ruin it in some way?
Yeah.
So I caught her under our bed with my book and the highlighter that was next to it.
Army crawled under your bed?
And yeah. So she wrecked the book, dude. Everything's highlighted.
It's a bright yellow highlighter, like the brightest one.
Yeah.
And she highlighted all over it, guys.
So it's whatever. So, but I liked the story. I liked how it's formatted. I don't know if Ayla specifically highlighted anything that's going to benefit our podcast.
Yeah.
Um,
But, okay, so do you want to get into it? What about chapter 1 here? Obviously, Ayla had a lot to highlight on here.
yeah, she highlighted page 5.
Page
A lot.
5.
Yep.
Was there anything from chapter 1 that you thought was pretty good? That was your favorite thing?
Yeah, I loved chapter 1.
I honestly, chapter 1 was honestly like my favorite, for real. And before I got into the book and I saw that it jumped from character to character, I was actually really excited about this character, and I thought we were going to follow him for a while. He was this like spunky little kid who was doing Valium, and he would like, I don't know, he didn't like his mom, or he just didn't understand the situation he was in.
He did speak mad crap about his mom, and he
But-
was taking her Valium,
Right.
and that's never explained.
Right, you gotta be nice to the people supplying your drugs.
Yeah, so I did like, so chapter 1 definitely caught me off guard. There were a few things I really liked. So that part I mentioned, the humor that could easily have been lost on you if you weren't
with the
paying
Boy Scout.
attention. He says, I'm not in the Scouts anymore. Our Scoutmaster told me to get lost, so I did, and it took the Snowdonia Mountain Rescue Service 2 days to find my shelter. He was on the local news and everything, and it's just, I don't know, that was funny. Like,
Yeah.
He took this figure of speech and just completely made it literal, and I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
And
And you highlighted that yourself.
I
Not
underlined
Ayla.
that. And then another thing, I was telling you how I like his humor and that he just uses normal language. There aren't any fancy words. He doesn't dress up his writing at all. It's like,
Yeah, I like that too. I thought it was a
So-
pretty easy read, you know, where I wasn't sitting there. I mean, other than a couple, like, maybe words specific to these people killing the people.
yeah.
Like, I think maybe aura, or just, like, ones where I feel like if you didn't watch, like, a Ghost Adventures, you know, on the Travel Channel, you might not know. But since everybody watched Zach from Ghost Adventures, they totally know.
Yeah. His writing is so simple. One other thing I underlined just because I really liked it. He says, and I won't tell you what he's talking about, but he says it's black, nothing black, like the gaps between the stars. For some reason, I just really like that.
Yeah.
Underlined it. But
Well, you know, I had a question about this one. And so when they first gets into the house in this chapter, the other little boy who's owned by the lady in the house, like this older teenager, starts asking like if he's ever had bad dreams before.
yeah.
I didn't know what that was, or if, I guess I didn't get it from the 3 chapters I read. Are they get inside the person's head, and so maybe the boy, I guess I couldn't really figure out what relevance that had, that maybe I missed out on it. And he kept saying, well, what was the bad dream you had? What was the last bad dream you had? And ends up, the dream he gets stuck in is he's visiting his dad and like his dad's girlfriend. And is that the bad dream? I don't know. So I kind of got a little confused on like what that had to do pertaining to the story. Do you remember that part? And the kid like didn't want to tell him. It was in the beginning when like they were like they're like hanging out in the garden.
Well, I wonder.
It might not have been in that.
I
important,
wonder.
guess.
Well, you finished the book though, and maybe I just haven't come across like anything
No.
that might provide some closure to
Oh,
that.
yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? Because I still have a little bit of the ways to go.
Well, the only thing that I think is clarity is that you can tell that like these people who like suck souls out of people, they can get inside your head.
Yeah.
You know?
So
Just can they get? Yeah. They can't get inside your head, but like they can twist your reality. But I don't know. Is that the same as getting inside your head? Yeah, I think they can get inside of people's head. They like know what you're thinking.
yeah. So it's this brother and sister.
Yes, these brother and sister who are like they have been around for a while, and I don't know if it's like in order to survive they have to like eat these souls, but it's kind of weird too because like, you know, you have this aspect, right, like this, but then they just take it to a whole nother level, and these psychos are you know, not only just killing these people, they're putting their portraits in their house after they kill them, and the poor kid's wearing this terrible suit. And I mean, now you're going to be painted up with this terrible outfit on, dude. He didn't even know it was going to be his last day.
forever. It's bullshit. They didn't tell him that they were going to kill him.
I mean...
I would be mad.
I would at least want to die in the outfit I want to die in.
Mm-hmm.
Hook me up with, I don't know. Next thing you know, I'm going to be in a romper or something. You know how crazy those are.
Don't knock rompers. Well, I've never worn one. I've always wanted to.
Yeah, you don't want to go to the bathroom in those in public.
So, but maybe finishing the book will, for me at least, provide a little bit of closure.
I will say I like that at the beginning of every chapter was like kind of this saying. So like 1979, it was called The Right Sort. And at first it took me like a really long time to try to figure out what does that mean, right? What is the right sort? And it's supposed to be like a hint toward the chapter or like pertaining towards the chapter in some way. And the only thing I could think of is that the right sort was, you know, you have these people. And like I said, all these people are losers, okay? I'm not trying to be a jerk, but they're just like coasting along here, dude.
Yeah.
And
if you read the book, they'll
seem a little odd. They'll seem a little bit weird, okay? And, you know, you have the right sort, and I wonder if it's because the mom is, like, trying to, you know, she's telling the kid, they're like, because she was playing the piano, you know, and she was trying to be, like, this uppity person, and she was trying to blend in with these uppity people, so, like, just like, you know, you're keeping up with the Joneses.
And she was afraid that Jonah, her son, was going to throw off their groove.
Right, yeah. So, you know, you have to be, like, the right sort of person. You know, you have to behave. You have to put on, like, you know, the right sort of clothes. Whatever.
And apparently, I wonder if she knew Jonah took her Valium.
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't know either.
But even that's like a perfect example right there. It's like, you have to be the right sort, but like nothing against mental illness and taking medication. But sometimes, especially I feel like so long ago, there's a stigma behind taking medication that you're not the right sort of person. And so like, you know, you're hiding that.
Yeah.
I mean, the kid's high. I mean, that's something you probably don't want to advertise to
right.
Mary and Bob next door, dude.
Right, yeah.
So anyways, you find out, is there anything else you got that you thought really called out to you in chapter 1?
No, I don't think so. That's really like the first half of the book.
So you find out the kid dies, you know, spoiler alert, kid dies. And what happened is, you know, these two people, the brother and sister, they like change your perception of things. All of a sudden you're like in these people's attic, you can't move. You're watching this candle flicker while your soul is just getting like sucked out of you, and they die, right? And the kid doesn't even know where his mom's at this point. Anyways, you move on to the next chapter, and that's when we meet. I kind of think I hated this character, by the way. Hated this character, but I thought he had a very interesting, like, he just was an interesting dude, but I didn't like him personally.
He was a sleazeball.
Yeah, he was a weirdo. What I especially didn't like, you know, the whole time he's like, so what happened was in the story, it's 9 years later, so the last one, Jonah, was in 1979. You now have, the next chapter's called Shining Armor in 1988, and you have this cop who has to investigate Slade Alley because 9 years ago, someone went into a coma, but he said he saw Jonah and his mother enter Slade Alley, and then he woke up from the coma, and he told the police, and so the guy was just humoring him. He said he'd check it out. 9 years later, here we are. He stumbles upon this widow in this giant house. And anyways, I just took over. Is there anything else you want to say about him? I tried to do a nice little backstory, but yeah, he the whole time it's like he's you know, he makes comments about thinking about having sex with this chick. He eventually does have sex with this chick, and you know, he even like says some crazy comment about he didn't use a condom. Now it's the baby's probably her, you know, it's her problem to deal with, which is messed up. You know, he's just weird. I didn't like him, and I just felt like
you wanted him to die.
I didn't care, you know. I didn't care.
Yeah. So did you know at this point in the book that every character was going they were gonna like, have the same fate.
Well, I kind of like, you kind of have like this like notion, because like obviously this isn't the first time, you know, like, I mean, like, Dracula's got to keep killing people, you know, or another monster. I'm trying to think of another monster where, like, oh, they feed every 1,000 years. So I'm like, okay, well, here's 9 years later. They're probably coming out to feed again.
Yeah.
And it was just that. And that's where, you know, you have the shining armor, which is, like, the main name of this chapter. He's, like, coming in, and I feel like he's doing all the easy work if the lady's already widowed. But I mean, obviously the chick is, you know, the killer, so she just leads him right in. I don't know. Is there anything else you had to say?
No, I'm just excited to finish it. And I think I do like that you dislike the book so much. And you knew, like, it was pretty clear from the start.
Yeah.
I think for you that you weren't going to like it.
Well, like I said, once I feel like, you know, the second chapter happened, I'm like, dude, why am I reading? Like, I just like, the characters, I like them, but they were just kind of like, oh man, and then they'll keep dying in the same way. So, you know, the cop, I was most interested in him because cops usually get tracked, right? And, you know, if a cop dies, you know, people usually figure out what happened to the cop. And so now I'm like, okay, cool, how are they going to find this cop who's going to just completely disappear? You know, the guy also ends up dying same way as Jonah, and in his head he was like, well, this is what I would have done. I would have radioed people would have been here, but obviously nobody knows, right? Point blank, period, boom. But they did know he was investigating the case, so there's a paper trail right there. And then I guess to transition now into our third chapter called Oink Oink in 1997. That's when I feel like this is the chapter I particularly was like, I didn't like the writing style in it. I didn't like how the people talked to each other. This is when I started getting turned off. I don't know. How did you feel about the last one?
I still like it.
I don't still like it.
Yeah. I'm curious. I don't know.
So
I gotta finish it to see, but overall, I like it. Maybe it's just like the whole experience. So we're just starting our podcast. It's the first book I've read in a while.
Yeah. Well,
the book is eerie. Like, it's it's not outright like, oh my god, I can't read this before I go to sleep. That's not it at all. But it definitely gives you this like inquisitive, just like eerie, dark-ish feel. Right. At least that's how I feel when I'm reading it. And I like that. Yeah. I just think it's fun. So
it's so much fun to watch people die.
It's so fun.
But so only thing I was gonna say about that last third chapter is like, so this one's related because you have this girl who's in college who joins this paranormal activity group, which I mean, you can sign me up for that. I want to see that, dude. I want to meet those kids. I want to be a part of that, bro. But anyways, you meet this girl who has her own self-esteem issues, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, who doesn't? But we're also here on this earth. Don't be hanging around people that are just crappy people, dude. I don't understand that. First off, you know, the people were just rude to her. Or, like, she just took so long trying to figure out, like, interpreting their messages that I'm like, I mean that in a crazy way. Like, you hang out with a group of friends, and she's, like, questioning if they like her or not. And I'm like, okay, why are we hanging out with these people? Anyways, this girl is in a paranormal activity book. One of the people in the paranormal activity book is like the nephew of the guy who was in that coma that the police was checking out. So that's how they're connected. And then they want to go like investigate it themselves. And this chapter even confuses me further because first off, there's this dude she likes in it, and the dude practically almost saves the day, versus, like, the ghosts usually try to save him. The ghosts from the previous people who got their souls sucked out try to save him. Those ghosts, terrible. They should get fired, dude. They can't save people at all. Anyways, the boyfriend, or, like, this hottie toddy coming up, almost saves her. She's too scared, ends up dying. All her friends die, too. Right? I was done. They all died the same way. You know, she loses feelings. She's up in the attic. The candle, the moth. She's dead. She stops breathing. Soul sucked out. Chapter ends. That's it.
So, did you find it frustrating that, so obviously we read the previous chapter, so each chapter, the person from the previous chapter sort of gives you a heads up that, like,
right.
Hey, I'm dead. So,
right.
like, if you keep going into this house, you're gonna die.
Right.
It's frustrating because the people that you're reading about, like, in the chapter, they're not gonna recognize the person from the previous chapter. They don't know that they're dead.
Well, some of them did recognize because the girl was like looking at those stupid portraits.
Oh, that's
Everybody
right.
keeps their stupid portrait, and she'd be like, wow, that looks a lot like, and then the kid. And I was like, first off, I don't think I would have even noticed that, dude. Like, I don't look that hard at people's photos unless, like, I'm in it, you know?
See, I do. The first thing I do when I'm in somebody's house or apartment or whatever is
look at their photos.
I look at how they decorated their space.
God, I have like nothing hanging on my walls except for a couple boxes. I don't have any photos.
Our house is littered with pictures of our daughter and our dogs. There's not one trace of Sam.
Wow, see?
I gave up. I don't know. Once we had the second kid, I was like, shoot, I cannot keep up with the decor.
Yeah.
So,
but you know, I do agree with you, you know, just to kind of like do my overall feelings of the book. I like the storyline. I'm always down for these like abstract ideas because, you know, at the end of the day, I don't know what my neighbor's doing, okay? I don't know what's going on inside their house. I don't know, you know, Lindsey could be doing something crazy on the side. You know, she could be a lizard person, you know?
Definitely.
The conspiracy that all our politicians are lizard people. Who knows, you know? So is there people out here sucking out souls? It's possible.
I'm not.
Yeah, so...
concept just came up
and that's
in the book.
And that is crazy, though, because, you know, that made me think about when you walk into Walmart. If you walk into Walmart, you'll see, like, a huge list, right, of all these missing people. And they're missing from, like, the 1970s, the 1980s, and, like... you really do start thinking, you know, there's so many people on this earth, like, you could just blip out, and then I'm just going to be a poster at Walmart, bro. It's pretty wild. And so, sometimes, I do think about, like, do things like this really happen? You know?
Yeah.
I know this is supernatural, but,
well,
you know.
I don't know. Do you think supernatural things happen? I do.
I think weird stuff happens.
I don't know if Slade Alley... So, in my research, and I... Look me in the eyes. One day we're going to this pub.
Look me in the eyes. Oh, wow. I feel like my soul just got sucked out of me.
Slade House is on Slade Alley. Just a little bit. It's a little ways down from
this?
Fox and Hound's pub.
In the United States?
In the book. But in the United States.
You're saying something else.
In Hollywood.
Ooh.
There's a Fox and Hound's pub, remember? A real one.
Yeah.
I want to go eat there.
Yeah, but then is down the street
Slade Alley. Are people disappearing from Fox and Hound's pub?
You know, if this writer was smart, he would have based it off something true, because Slade Alley disappears from year, like, you know, 1 through 9, and then reappears just to get the food, you know, just so the people can come back, and then it disappears because, yeah. Anyways,
yeah,
that would be cool if there was Slade Alley.
The book. Not only so you can follow along with Julia's and our next podcast, which I will have finished the book. We're going to be introducing the next book we're going over.
Yes. Well, okay. And I hope, so we're going to finish it. It's going to be up on our next podcast. I hope it's not as predictable. I hope this guy wows me. You know, I hope there's something new.
Yeah.
But, so, speaking of which... Since we're almost done with this one, we're going to introduce our next book just so you guys can get it. You can maybe start reading it once you're done with Slade House. If you happen to finish it early, do we want to share what those are?
The honor is yours.
I don't have those books in front of me, but this is actually my choice.
It's The Sea of Strangers.
Yep, the first one we're going to do is actually A Sea of Strangers, and there's another one.
Love Looks Pretty on You.
Love Looks Pretty on You. And This is actually 2 books of poetry. We're going to try to read Sea of Strangers after first. You'll kind of know more at our next podcast. We'll tell you. But you're probably going to have about 2 weeks to read all of Sea of Strangers. It's about 200 pages. There's a paragraph on each page. I think you're fine. I don't think it's going to be that crazy hard.
Yeah. So
I'm excited, though. I like her. I like the poetry. She's a young artist, writer, artist. I think she writes on just, like, a lot of what I've kind of heard. It's a lot of just, like, love and, like, what love does to, like, our psyche. And I think just psychologically going through life and all the things we think of without really realizing it.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. So the way we're planning on doing this is we're going to cover a book each month. So our Midway Monday, which is what we're doing today, we're covering the first half of the book. You skipped ahead because you were not feeling it and had to get through it.
The book is returned, dude.
Yeah, so we're gonna do Midway Monday, and then our following podcast would be like ending that book.
Yeah.
And officially introducing, like, we're gonna talk about the next book we're reading. Like, This is the author, this is the background on the story, this is why we chose it. But for the purposes,
but if you want to pick it up early, follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, we wanted to give you a heads up.
We'll make sure we'll drop it.
Heads up on this podcast what the book is. So, like Julia said, you've got time to pick it up.
Plus, this one's so short, and since it is poetry and prose, we're ended up gonna read like 2 of her poetry books because that's kind of like equivalent to like a book, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I'm excited to read it. It's something I've been wanting to read.
Yep, I'm stoked. How are you feeling about the drink?
Drink's so good. Oh no. We're outside and a little fruit fly has flown into it. Well, good thing there's alcohol in it.
Hell yeah, I killed him.
No, we're outside on my porch. I try to put a lot of marigolds around so that gets rid of a lot of flies and mosquitoes. So far, I haven't really had that many mosquitoes. Drink is good. Gonna be honest, I would not get it again.
Same.
Yeah, I'm not feeling as much as I think I should be. But I don't know. I don't like coconut.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I feel like I might recommend it, but I wouldn't buy it again just because I'm not feeling coconut.
Or if you need another really, what do you call it when it matches something?
Well, it is the exact same color of your rug.
Well, I was going to say the tiki. If you wanted to throw a tiki party, perfect. Ooh. Perfect for it.
Yeah, get the New Holland Rum Punch. It's a canned cocktail. If you need something convenient and that matches the theme of your luau.
Well, other than that, guys, I would just say, make sure to follow us on Instagram. We also have a YouTube and SoundCloud is where you can listen to our podcast. It's all, just type in Thirsty Readers. Usually 2 words, Thirsty Readers. Do you have any final thoughts, Lindsey? Words of wisdom we can leave off on?
No, I'm excited to finish the book.
You don't have any words dude, you should look up the conspiracy of lizard people.
Look it up, people.
That's some words of wisdom. But don't get lost in the conspiracy.
Yup.
All right, that's it.
So get the book, Sea of Strangers, for next time. And get Slade House and catch up with us if you want. We'll finish it and be talking about it next week.
All right. Bye. Have a good one.